Good morning. It's Sunday, July 11th. And this morning I want to bring you up to date on the status of the coronavirus in the United States. While we have 48% of the population fully vaccinated, we have many clusters in this country where the vaccination rate is in the 20s. For various reasons, people in those clusters, which are mostly in the South and the Southwest, those people in those clusters, for one reason or another, decided that they would wait for the vaccination to see if it was working on everybody else in the country, or they plain didn't want to get vaccinated. There are a lot of reasons why these people didn't want to get vaccinated for it, and they're making a big mistake. Because of the fact that they are not vaccinated, there is a high percentage of COVID roaming around those regions. And the longer that COVID stays alive, the more dangerous it seems to get. As we all know, right now, the predominant strain is something that's known as the Delta. And the Delta is highly contagious, more contagious than the previous strains. The Delta may even be resistant to the vaccines that have been developed up to this point. However, that's not the case, that we have not found that out to be true yet. And Pfizer has recognized that its vaccine seems to be, as they called it, waning. So Pfizer is working very hard right now on getting ready a booster shot. And as of right now, the FDA and the CDC say Americans don't need another shot just yet. And the World Health Organization's Director General also warned that places with low vaccination rates may be so overrun with variants that by the time the vaccine reaches them, the shots won't be as effective at preventing the spread. So there we have this conundrum, this conflict between the events that can take place. If we don't get vaccinated, we leave ourselves open to the new strains, which are quicker and more dangerous than the original COVID-19. And if we do get vaccinated, the shots might not be as effective at preventing the spread. So what's the answer? Well, I think the answer is to get vaccinated as fast as you can. The more people that we have vaccinated, the less chance of developing the spread. But of course, many don't feel that way. When we talk to people who hadn't been vaccinated, they weren't necessarily anti-vaxxers. They were people who just didn't feel like doing it at that particular moment. Some of them felt that they were healthy enough to withstand anything. And boy, were they shocked when they got the virus and ended up in a hospital or ended up bedridden and finding it hard to breathe and feeling weak. And you know what's even worse? This is not like you get a cold and it goes away in a day or two after it's over with, right? This thing lingers, and these people who got the COVID, readily admit that months after so-called recovery, they really haven't recovered yet. And that's what we're fighting in this country. That's what we're fighting. We're fighting the misconceptions that we're stronger than the virus. We're fighting the misconceptions that the vaccines are experimentation. We're going to look for the Nuremberg Code to avoid getting a vaccine. We're going to tell people they have no business experimenting on our bodies. Well, don't pay attention to that nonsense. And these clusters, these 5 clusters in the South and Southwest, are very dangerous for all of us. And they're not in big cities. They are in small towns mostly, small populations. But when you look at the people and you see them walking the streets, they have no masks on. They are ignoring all the protocols. So while there are mask mandates or mask suggestions, nobody down there is using them. And you know what that means? That we have these clusters, and they're very dangerous. Not only to the people that live in those clusters, but they are the breeding grounds for new variants. the next Delta that comes along, or the next B11, or whatever hell they're going to call the next variation. Right now, Delta controls the COVID world, but there will be a new variant if we don't hurry up and get our people vaccinated. And there's no excuse for not being vaccinated now. The proof is in the pudding, and the vaccines are out there and available. So why? Why don't we have those people vaccinated? Because they don't want to. They don't want to be vaccinated. And we can't mandate that if you don't get vaccinated by choice, you won't get health care. I mean, we're not going to do anything like that. And it's not only the United States that's affected. If you look at places like Australia and South Korea, where the variant outbreaks are so bad that those countries are going back to the original very strict rules. They're locking people down, taking every possible safety measure to keep their people alive. So do we want to be in lockdown? Do we want to be confined more than we are right now? I say no, we shouldn't do that, but we will have to do that given that we have stupidity running rampant in this country, along with COVID-19. Yes, there's no other word except sheer stupidity. If you think you are immune just because you feel well, you're dead wrong. We don't want to end up in a hospital on a ventilator. Believe me, that's not something you should be looking forward to. And then think of the terror and the fear about not being able to see your children or your grandchildren again. And how about those people who are afraid that they may never see their parents again? It's a terrifying situation, but we have stupidity in this country. We have people that think that they have the right to put everybody else in danger, that they are so brilliant and so smart and they're not going to get this virus. They're too strong. Well, that's a lot of horseshit. This virus will get you if you're not careful. And we haven't built up anything near herd immunity yet. We have a long way to go. And probably another half a dozen variants before we get to the end of this. If there even is an end to this. Think about that. Think about the fact that we have these 5 clusters, and that may not be the end. That may just be the beginning of the next year and a half of sequestration. How about that? Well, I think I've given you enough bullshit this morning, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.